So, why do people hate this movie again? Because I just don't see why. Mulan is Disney's 2020 live-action remake of its 1998 animated film and stars Liu Yifei, Donnie Yen, and Jet Li, and follows Hua Mulan, a young Chinese girl who takes her father's place in the Imperial Army and fights Bori Khan and his army of Roarans and tries to stop them from killing the Emperor. Okay, so I've heard very mixed things on this movie. Critics liked it. Audiences, mixed to negative. And I just don't see why. I don't see this side at all. I like this movie. I didn't think it was bad. It's not the best Disney live action remake, but compared to some of the others we've gotten, it's better. It's not the best. That's still Jungle Book, but it's better. I'll give it credit. It took a lot of risks. They took out the singing. They took out Mushu. They took out a lot of the comedy. And they made a more serious, semi-grounded Mulan. And for the most part, it works. I mean, this is a decent update of the animated movie. It's not perfect, but for what it is, at least it's not a shot-for-shot remake like The Lion King was. And honestly, I am so grateful for that. I really am, because the Disney live-action remakes are a bit of a tricky business, because some are decent, some are not. Some take too much from the animated movie to where it's just like, well, why not just watch the original? Some take enough to where it's like, okay, well, this is a remake, but there's still enough here that can distinguish it. Like The Jungle Book. That's why I praise The Jungle Book so much, because it took enough from the animated film, took some other elements, put them together, and made a really, really good remake that I honestly prefer over the original Jungle Book. None of the other remakes have done this. Keep in mind. But this is one of the closer ones that I will say did it decently. Now, I do have some problems. Not everything in this movie works, but let's just start with the positives. The performances are actually pretty good. Liu Yifei as Mulan, I kind of relate it to how I feel about Brie Larson as Captain Marvel in her solo film. She's good, but there are enough scenes where she's kind of acting wooden, and it's not really completely emotive, and it hurts the film. The rest of the time, she's good, and I like her as Mulan, but in terms of that, she's not better than Ming-Na Wen. But the rest of the cast is good. They all give good performances. Jet Li as the Emperor is great, and Jason Scott Lee was pretty good as Bori Khan. Some of the character development in here is worse than the original. Not completely worse. They took Shang and split them up into two characters, Commander Tang and Chen Honghui. I hope I pronounced that right. And both of them are good characters. I mean, you don't really know a whole lot about Commander Tang, but Honghui you know a little bit about, and he's not a bad character. He's not the best character, but he's not terrible. And honestly, that's part of the problem with this movie. I really could not tell you who was Yao, Chin Po, Ling, or they even renamed one of the shoulders Cricky after the cricket in the original. And the only reason I know that they're in this movie is because I had to look up their names. They're like, oh yeah, they're in here. I'm like, who were they? It's not really completely made clear, which is a problem when you try to feel the camaraderie between her and the rest of her peers. You just don't completely feel that compared to the original. In other areas, I mean, her feeling this struggle as a woman in the army is decently enough. It's not as solid as the original, but it's still good enough. Her dealing with a witch, honestly, in the comparison between the two, was pretty solid. Seeing how each took their own different paths with it, and yeah, the witch in this movie, I could not tell you her name. I'm sorry. That's just really part of the problem. I cannot tell you a good chunk of these characters as to who was playing who. But the witch here was a decent character. She had enough motivation. There were a couple scenes with her that was just like, yeah, this isn't great, but overall, I thought she was good. The action in here is fun. It does take a lot from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and a few other kung fu style movies, and the visuals here are good. A few very noticeable CGI shots, but not terrible to the point where I was like, oh my god, that looks like garbage. But overall, this movie isn't bad by any means. I mean, I get where people are coming from by saying, yeah, there's a lot that this movie does not have in it that the original had that was done better, but at least this movie feels like it has a soul. I mean, I couldn't say that about at least half the remakes. This movie feels like it has a soul. It feels like it could be his own thing if the animated film did not exist. And I credit director Nikki Caro for doing that, because I honestly believe she did a good job with this movie and did it to the best of her ability. There are still problems with this movie, but in the sense that what she tried to do with this story, it's honestly a decent update. Not perfect. The screenplay here and the dialogue isn't complete crap, but it ain't great. And the story does get a little mixed and crunched, but overall, what she did here, I gotta give her credit. It's not bad by any means. I like this. Am I gonna prefer it to the animated film? No, I'm not stupid. But for what it is, yeah, I'd watch it again. Did I pay $30 to buy this on Disney Plus? No, I borrowed my friend's account. But was this still good enough? Yeah, and quite honestly, I would watch it again. Although, I'm gonna say this now. If you pay $30 for this movie and you didn't love it, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna give Mulan a 7 out of 10. That's kind of a reluctant, because I gave Aladdin somewhere around the same score, and that took a lot more from the animated film and was done worse. But there was enough in that movie where I actually liked, specifically the music. I think Alan Menken did a great job updating that score and his songs. But overall, this is one of the better Disney live-action remakes, in my opinion. I don't hate it by any means. It's good. I don't see the hate behind this movie. Maybe it's because of the background where they filmed and Yifei's comments on the Hong Kong protesters. I don't know. I'm not following that. My goal here is, unless there's production problems, I focus on the movie, and that is what I do. So, this is essentially what I think. I think it's good. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. Thank you so much for watching. So, just quick update. I'm stopping the Black Widow review series. That's going to be pushed back to December because Disney was so kind to push it to May. So, but that'll start back up in December. My DCEU ranking has been also pushed to December, but I have my streaming and theaters reviews coming very soon, so look forward to those. And if you like this, look forward to more, because I got a bunch more coming at you.